Hello, I'm Michelle. I'm here with two special guests, and we're going to briefly talk about the Internships in the Valley program and our collaboration with Applied Materials. First things first, can you introduce Applied Materials and your role at the company? And for Robert specifically, how did you find your way to the US from the Netherlands?
My name is Robert-Jan Visser. I was born in Amsterdam and I'm still a Dutch citizen, working here at Applied Materials. Applied Materials is the largest equipment company, both for the semiconductor industry and for the display industry. And we also provide services to those industries. It has a more than 50-year history. So much of what you see today in either displays or in semiconductors has been enabled by equipment which was made by Applied Materials. We have made an estimate that if you take your iPhone, about 80% of the components have passed through our equipment. That is not what we do within my group. We look basically at new opportunities based on our ability to deposit thin films, structure thin films, and create totally new materials. And so we'll talk more about that later in the interview.
Leslie Du here. I'm Robert's chief of staff. So my role in the group is I program manage a lot of the new technology engagements and programs across the companies and external parties. So we do a lot of formulation of new strategies for the opportunities that Robert just talked about. So in that process, we have a lot of parties contributing to that, including the interns that we took from this program. In the office of the CTO, we have several new programs of advanced technologies, including engineered optics, where we focus on AR/VR technology. And we're also looking into the next generation of energy storage solutions for EVs. And we also have a team focusing on the next generation display for consumer electronics applications. And we also have a team working on advanced packaging technology to enable faster communication and better performance computer chips.
When did Applied Materials become involved in the Internships in the Valley program?
So I heard about this program, I think participating in one of the events, the Dutch consulate in San Francisco, which is very active, organizes. And we started talking in 2019. Then, of course, we had a list, but then COVID happened. Although one of the students started to study in Georgia Tech, so he joined us later. But this year, so 2020, 22 was first really full year. And so we had first one early on. And then this year we had 3 students. And for the coming year, we will have another 3 students where the first one has already arrived. Yeah.
You now have multiple interns at Applied Materials through our program. Can you briefly describe the role and the teams they are involved in?
Yeah, so I think I'll begin with maybe Eric being first. So Eric joined us last year. So he was firstly studying in the imaging analysis group, where he was able to leverage his expertise in software to help us create a script and optimize the process. And he later on moved to the design group to help us optimize our simulation software. So that's pretty cool. And we also had Gijs de Bram also joining us in 2022. So he was able to leverage his knowledge in the bioscience area to help us create a business plan for a new technology. And he was able to come up with new directions with his creativity. And that was pretty cool.
And Yuri works actually not within the CTO office where we work, but in the semiconductor division where he works on new chemistries for making new type of layers. And they are very enthusiastic, so they wanted to have a new intern.
Are there any particular strengths or attributes that the interns have brought to the company? And in what way have the interns contributed to the company's growth and success?
Now, this is a large company, so if you want to say, hey, I contributed to the success, you need to wait for many, many years. And it is also, of course, before it moves the needle at a company this size, that's a daunting task. But I think actually all the interns have made very good contributions to their project. So the first one, Dan Rutten, actually, now studying at Georgia Tech, tried a new algorithm approach, which was pretty risky. And but they said, "Oh, give it a try." And he actually accelerated the computational speed by more than a factor of 1,000, which had a real impact on the way we do simulations. Gijs has done a very nice business analysis, and Eric has found his dream now in the software simulations and is doing very, very well. What I like about, and this is also why we select, is enthusiasm, drive, willingness to learn. And I also think, and this is where I think also the Dutch students seem to excel, independent thinking, being willing to both listen, but also give feedback, speak your mind, and not be shy to ask questions, but also not shy to speak out.
In terms of the quality, I would say overall we've been really impressed by the quality or the level of caliber of the candidates. I think just to follow up on what Robert just mentioned, I think the curiosity or the motivation to learn are really one or two of the most important characteristics that we have seen so far. And that definitely has brought a lot of positive energy to our team.
And then in closing, are there any words of advice for future candidates looking for an internship in the US?
I always, and this is an advice to almost any student, which I give, look for something you are passionate about, which you really like, where you think, okay, I would make a real great contribution. Then I think it is good not only to engage in the topics, but also to engage socially. And I think all the students have done great with that, not only mingling with the team, but also making contacts, because the Bay Area, and that's the amazing thing about the Bay Area, contains so many different startups in all type of different directions, and getting better knowledge of how it works and what drives people here and how they can be successful is a great thing to learn and a great experience to bring back to whatever career you might choose afterwards.
I think that's a great point. I just wanted to build on that. So I went through that process. I know it's not easy to land an internship or find a job overseas. So I would say that process may not be that straightforward, but don't be frustrated by that. As Robert mentioned, be really, really open to different opportunities, try different things. And in that process, it's probably good to get lost, and then you'll find what you really, feel passionate about.